Welcome everyone to this presentation with the latest developments of Meta, version 25.1.0. Meta covers a wide range of categories. Some of the categories we will cover today are GUI and graphics, model and results handling, results queries and reporting, 2D plot, crash and safety, NVH, CFD, process automation and user toolbars, MetaDB, data management, solver support, and finally virtual reality. Let's start with the solutions for graphic user interface and graphics. The first new feature allows users to assign different colors to various solver entity types, making it easier to differentiate them visually. The available entity categories adjust based on the solver file imported. To customize these colors, navigate to Settings, select Global Settings, and then go to Colors and Drawing under the Advanced tab. All None and Invert visibility options are now available in the right-click menu of the visible column header from the database browser. In addition, Show, Hide, and Show Only options have been added to right-click menu for each entity category. Moving on, it is now possible to read multiple FringeBar XML files which reside inside the FringeBars folder in the user's directory. This allows for easier sharing since palettes can be easily shared by saving them in distinct XML files. Improved flexibility, as we can customize and organize palettes according to specific needs without cluttering a single file. Enhanced organization. Users can store palettes in multiple XML files, allowing better management for different projects or analysis types. Regarding model and results handling. Load parameter results, Xi and Theta, are now calculated for LS-DYNA. The only requirement is that full tensor results must exist in the solver file for these calculations to be performed. In addition to that, these new results are indicated with a red asterisk in the Read Results interface as they are calculated by Meta. For atoms, it is now possible to animate eigenmodes as calculated during normal modes analysis. Files compressed with Z-standard can now be read in Meta. The supported DEX or formats are the following: Nastran, Abacus, Pancrash, LS-DYNA, Impetus, Permis, CCM, Radius, VRML, POY, SU2, and FieldView. Moving on to results queries and reporting. ODB Diagnostics tool is now introduced in Meta. The tool facilitates assessing and understanding the contents, status, and potential issues of a loaded ODB file. It is also possible to identify element or nodes that are referenced in the diagnostics tool directly on the 3D model. The tool can be easily accessed from the Analysis ribbon tab. With regards to HTML 3D, there are several enhancements. Major improvement in animation performance for large models. Adjust accuracy for better performance. Support of multiple models and results. Through File, Export Model, it is now possible to export HTML 3D as a single file. Finally, a new option, Simplify Model, is now available when exporting models to any file format, including HTML 3D. For isogeometric analysis, there has been an improvement. Cut planes are now supported for IGA elements. For imported images or videos in Meta, a new command is now available that creates a label. The command syntax is the following. Many variables are available that can be used as text. In addition, new commands are developed allowing to define labels' background color, text color, position, and visibility. Regarding 2D plot, curves visibility, color, ID, and name are now listed as separate columns. Filters can now be applied independently to each attribute, enabling more precise queries. Users can sort the curves list by any specific attribute, such as curve name, ID, or color, which helps to quickly locate curves based on desired criteria. Finally, session files based on names from the old column structure will continue to operate as before. It is now possible to fit an image in a 2D plot window using the command image embed plot. The available arguments are either auto-fitting or specifying a particular axis range for the x and y axis. Once embedded in the plot, an image can no longer be moved unless the command image embed plot off is used, preventing unintentional modification of the image size or position. Finally, for ISO format, it is now possible to handle how the abscissa values of curves will be output when exporting curves. The available options are as time channel for unequal time step, as time channel for all, use average time step, and finally use mostly used time step. Moving on to the disciplines and starting with crash and safety. For occupant injury criteria tool, whiplash rating is now calculated for the following: Euro NCAP, Chinese NCAP, Korean NCAP, and Japanese NCAP. In addition to that, Meta now supports IHS Small Overlap Protocol 2024 version 4, IHS MODB Protocol 2024 version 2, support of Chinese NCAP version 2024, support of Chinese ISI version 2023, support of AP55 STANAG 4569 Protocol for Regulation for Armored Vehicles. Also, knee-thigh hip injury criterion is now calculated and reported for IHS and Chinese ISI. Finally, for occupant injury criteria, it is now possible to save in ASCII files all the data needed for consumer ratings or legal regulations. Until now, this was possible only for US NCAP and IHS. If user limits are applied, then a separate CSV file will be created with the results for which a user limit is set. For virtual testing crash worthiness tool, support a Chinese NCAP Farside Impact VTC. For the pedestrian tool, support of Euro NCAP 2023 official spreadsheet. Finally, for human body models post, Viva Plus version 1.1.0 is now supported. Regarding NVH, it is now possible to build multiple FRF assemblies in the same database. The components and connections can be retrieved from a common pool. The respective assemblies can be built from analytical simulations from measured transfer functions, or can be even hybrid, comprising of analytical simulations and measurements as well. It is possible to create and compare assembly variations, modify connection types and properties, change the component properties, and conduct what-if studies for different FRF assembly configurations in order to compare results. There is a new tool available in the NVH ribbon tab, the modal transfer functions. If a model is loaded along with its mode results, it is possible to select a node and calculate the point mobility of this node, having predefined the degrees of freedom and default values for damping. It is also possible to select a second node, and the transfer function between the first and second node can be calculated. Moreover, it is now possible to calculate on-demand diagnostic results during NVH calculations from modal response. Calculations are applied directly to 3D results. Moving on to CFD. Projected type line integral convolution on cut planes is now supported, allowing for quick and efficient flow field visualization on large models. Regarding process automation and user toolbars. Previously, scanning for file contents and partial reading of files was only available through the scan option from the read results interface. A new Python API has been created that enables the same functionality through scripting. It includes 3 new functions and 2 existing functions which have been enhanced. These updates allow for efficient listing, filtering, and reading of specific geometry file contents directly through the Python API. Template Manager has been updated with various improvements. Relative paths can now be handled when reading templates, providing users with greater flexibility. Additionally, users can define variables by right-clicking and selecting variables from the context menu in the Template Manager window. Once the template is loaded in Meta, any variables defined in the template appear in the dialog, allowing users to view and adjust them based on their needs. Regarding MetaDB, time of reading MetaDB project files with multiple pages or windows has significantly reduced. For MetaDB Translator, Fidelity PBS is now supported. Moreover, it is now possible to define filter expressions in order to read specific steps. Moving on to data management. New DM Ribbon is now available. It offers GUI so that users can easily store reports such as key values, curves, plots, MetaDB projects under a simulation run, model, or load case. As a reminder, this data can be retrieved and viewed on convos or answers. The parent object, for example run, is selected from this ribbon, and then all storage actions are realized under it. Users can select to add reports, either selecting items from current meta session or from files in the file system. All actions work with the currently connected data management system. Moving on to solver support. BC Grid, BC Surf, and BSurf entries are now supported in Nastran. They can be found under Sets and under BC Body in the Connections list. Nastran BC Table 1 contact definitions are now supported, along with some new element types. For LSDyna, D3 PSD results are now supported. Names of SBTout slip rings are now supported along with new results from GLStat files. For Abacus, some new elements are supported. Additionally, two new categories, beam section forces and beam section moments, have been introduced to facilitate exclusive reading of results on beams. Moving on for ANSYS. Compact format of eBlock of version 2024R is now supported, along with some new element types. There have also been some generic developments for various solvers such as Mark, ParView, AnimatorDB, Adventure Cluster, and finally Permis. Additionally, for Star CCM, reading and displaying of derived parts is now supported. For OpenFOAM, identification of file format, when ARCH keyword is defined in files in ESI OpenFOAM cases, is now supported. High-order elements are now supported by the Fluent and OpenFOAM exporter of Meta. Also, it is now possible to define which result type will be exported in JT format. Finally, exporting geometry and results in VDU VTM format is now supported. Moving on to virtual reality. In VR, users can now listen to different acoustic pressure results and highlight the corresponding curves for visualization. Thank you very much for your attention. This concludes today's video on the latest developments for version 25.1.0 of Meta.